Anybody ever seen the movie Never Ending Story? Somebody say yeah? Okay. Remember the main character, Falcor, the luck dragon? There he is. And there's also a camel. If you look, there's the tip of his nose, and his eye, and horns on his head, and his hump. See that? Now, Eyeclectic philosophy says that things we can't see are often more remarkable than things we can. And I find many examples of that in ways that I didn't even anticipate when I originally said it. But this photo is a great example. When I took the picture, I saw the wave through the center. I didn't see Falcor or the camel. My mom pointed out Falcor because that's one of her favorite movies. And there's just a lot of other things in there, too. Anybody ever seen a pink elephant stampede over a farm? I love being able to ask that question. And what do we see here? A reindeer, yes, right. Or a bullwinkle, right? Hey, Rocky, why should I pull a rabbit on my head? No, no rabbits. So what do we see now?
A polar bear in a snowstorm.
A polar bear in a snowstorm. Very good. Now I'm going to ask somebody else to help me out here a moment. If somebody would like to come up here, please. How about Ruth? I have pictures, I have copies of this picture, by the way, if anyone would like one. I really do, actually. Make a donation toward the program. Hi, Ruth. I'm going to have you take a picture. But you have to use your imagination, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is, if I can reach, I'm going to reach up here and grab some of that snow. Okay, now, let's step over here. Come over here. Okay, now, I just want you to take a picture, but you have to use your imagination, because if you can't see it, can you see it?
Snow?
Can you see the snow?
It's kind of dark.
Okay, but if you can't see it, nobody else can be able to see it. So you've got to use your imagination. Go ahead, take a picture.
Right.
Whoops. Hey, where'd we go? That's a good picture.
Oh, great.
If the computer works. Thank you. And I'm just going to put this in here and make a slush. Now, if I can get someone else up here, please. Or let's just do, here, Ruth, come here. While you're up here. Yes, please, come on. I just want to, I'm going to give you the snow now. So hold out your hand.
It's cold.
Oh, wait, that doesn't look like snow. It dried out somehow. Here, wait a minute. We need the voice of life, water. Okay. Snow! Excellent. Oh, I'm sure they won't mind. Or you can take it home with you. Take it home to Mexico.
It's going to melt.
No, it won't melt. Actually, it will dry out. You can add some more water to it and it'll puff up again.
Okay.
So actually, I just, this is, the way my mind works. I'm driven by challenge. And actually, Ruth was actually one that really inspired a lot of things that I've come to realize with photography as therapy, because we've communicated by email over the last few years. And I asked her at one point if her patients would be interested in a program of photography as therapy. And she said that her patients were mostly children who wouldn't understand this most original form of therapy, as she said. And so I just wanted to say that this is how I'm driven by challenge. Challenge is not something that stops me. I always want to see the other side of the wall. And this photo actually was an illustration of that. I was having a conversation with a friend about impossibility, and I said, nothing is impossible. And she said, yes, sir, lots of things are impossible. And I said, well, name one. And she said, you can't reach up and catch a star. So I did. Because if you just look at the words, impossible is not possible. Impossible is impossible. So this is Paul, and he was a great inspiration to me. I met him on the street in New York City shortly after I installed the exhibit at Empire State Building, and sat and talked with him, had coffee, and we talked about the beauty of life. And he just told me how he saw beauty in everything. And he said hello to everyone who passed. Good morning, God bless you, how are you? No one acknowledged him. But I took away what I considered divine inspiration by sitting and speaking with this man. Because he asked me what I was doing. I told him about the exhibit. He said, I'd like to walk. Maybe I'll walk down there and see it. A couple of days later, I came by to see if he was there. And he immediately jumped up. He's like, "Oh, John," he goes, "I was hoping to see you again." And he asked him about the exhibit, and I'll never forget his words, because they've really guided me in the work that I'm doing. And he said, "Yes, it was beautiful, man, beautiful." He says, "I was amazed." He said, "I stood there for a long time." He said, "I wish I could take pictures like that." He said, "I keep the memories up here." He says, "But I wish I could take them with a camera like you can." And in response, I just said, "Well, maybe I'll bring you by a camera." And this was a big spark in me. And I explain it the same way every time, because that's how it was. It was just this big spark, and I thought, why can't we do this? You know, and help people to uplift themselves, and inspire others in like situations, and hopefully change perceptions of people that pass them by as if they have nothing to share. Because we all have something to share. And like I say, I've taken away what I really consider divine inspiration in sitting and talking with him. So I've, started that as an idea and really helping to uplift the homeless situation. And, just actually starting with disposable cameras, to hand somebody a disposable camera. First sitting down and just speaking with them and sharing some pictures. And I'll carry this little photo of them. And by the end of the conversation, I see their spirits lifted. And they're telling me about the things they've seen in the clouds. And, and then if, they're interested, I give them a camera and say, this one actually has an address on the back of it for the Bowery Mission. This was geared for New York City, of a little bit of relationship with the Bowery Mission. So that it's an outreach that, you give them the camera, and then you're also directing them to a place of help where they can take the camera and have it developed, and maybe they didn't know about this place in the first place, but now, you're directing them to a place that's going to help to rehabilitate them. And if they're interested to continue in the program, my thoughts are to, like the way Project Magic works, that David comes in and does a seminar, and then magicians in that area keep things going. And I would like to see that happen as well with photography. So I'm trying to work that out. And because, I really believe that we're missing great gifts by passing each other by. And that we have genius laying on our streets. Actually, does the name Nikola Tesla light any bulbs? Because the answer to that question, we have somebody here from Croatia, right? Yeah, right. So you should know Nikola Tesla, correct? So the answer to that question, of course, is that the name Nikola Tesla lights every bulb on the planet. He was the originator of alternating current and fluorescent and neon light, remote control, robotics, and the list goes on and on. But very few people know the name, because he was kind of written out of our history, because his true quest was for free energy. And after he had given the ability to people to sell power, they would have none of that. And he actually died broke, and would have been homeless himself if Westinghouse hadn't paid his room and board at the Hotel New Yorker until he died. So I really do believe, and even from my own experience coming from the depression that I came from, I had a floor I was laying on I couldn't pull myself off of, because I had people that cared for me. But I would have been on the street myself. So I really do believe that we have genius laying on our streets, and possibly the questions of some of our most perplexing questions could be found in minds that we never think to acknowledge. And we need to uplift them. We need to find their talents and help them to progress in that. This is a good example. This man was that man. After we had some coffee and shared some photos, and he was uplifted, and the conversation I had with him was amazing. He was a very intelligent man. I mean, the questions that he asked me were very deep, and it was almost as if I was being interviewed by God. It was really amazing. Of course, I wouldn't have known that had I not stopped and had coffee with him. And he was a bit surprised. He's like, "You want to have coffee with me?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So, because, we all know the story of Humpty Dumpty, right? When Humpty Dumpty sat on a chair, his friends picked him up so he could share. That's all I needed was friends. This picture was actually taken on top of the Empire State Building in a cloud. And, having the exhibit at Empire State Building myself, and everything that came from that, and the people that were touched from it, I thought that I would like to give that opportunity to others, the less fortunate. And I prefer that term to homelessness, because homelessness is kind of separative. But less fortunate, we're either fortunate or less fortunate, but we all live on the same rock. And I thought what a great thing it would be to actually give some of these people the opportunity to display photos taken by them in the lobby of the world's most famous building. Because it's no sweat to lift a finger, but it means the world to those we bridge.